Hello everyone, welcome back to Inside English series. In today's lesson, we are going to look at different ways to say I like and I don't like in English. In this lesson, I will give you lots of useful vocabulary with plenty of examples. So if you do not want to sound boring and if you do not want to repeat the same words all the time and you want to speak English more fluently and confidently, please watch this video to the end. Now, there is no problem with saying I like and I don't like in English. But if you say the same things all the time, then that probably means that your English is not so good. People will think that your English level is not so good and you don't have much information. That's why you keep saying the same thing all the time. So in today's lesson, we are going to take a big look at lots of other alternatives that we can use in English to say that we like something or we do not like something. Now, let's look at some common alternatives to I like in English. Let's first begin with a beginner level. If you are a beginner level, you could use I love, I enjoy, or I like. But keep in mind that if you use I like and I love, then they are followed by a gerund, verb plus ing, or to an infinitive. For example, I love football, or I love playing football, or I love to play football. And the same thing with I like. I like listening to music, I like to listen to music, or I like music followed by a noun. Or you could use I enjoy reading books, I enjoy playing video games. This is a beginner level. Now with an elementary level, if you are an elementary level, you could use things like I adore. We all know that adoring something means loving it and liking it so much. I adore basketball. I adore him, like an actor. I adore him, meaning I love him so much. And when talking about music, food, or sports, it is very good to use things like I'm a big fan of or I am fond of. For example, I am a big fan of Al Pacino, or I'm a big fan of football. She is a big fan of Cristiano Ronaldo. Okay, she is fond of music. She is fond of Italian food. So I am fond of, or I'm a big fan of. And we could also use I have a liking for. I have a liking for. For example, I have a liking for cycling. It is a very good way to keep healthy or stay fit. This is a very good way to say that you like something. Now, moving on to a high. Now, if you are an intermediate level, you could use things like I'm into. I am into classical music. I am into classical music. Or I am crazy about. I'm crazy about football. I'm crazy about football. She is crazy about her fiancé. Or I am keen on. I am keen on creating videos. I am keen on learning languages. I am keen on studying English. So, I am into, I am keen on, I am crazy about. I'm crazy about basketball. Or you could use something like, I find something enjoyable. I find cooking enjoyable. I find making videos enjoyable. Or I find learning languages enjoyable. This is an intermediate level. Moving on to a higher level. If you are an upper intermediate level, you could use things like, I have a preference for, or I take pleasure in. I take pleasure in, like I take pleasure in yoga, it gives me energy. Or I have preference for yoga, it gives me energy. You could also use things like I'm drawn to. I'm drawn to. For example, I am drawn to writing poetry. I'm drawn to writing poetry. Or I am drawn to learning different languages. She is drawn to learning different languages. And if you are talking about personal things, personal interests, you could use things like it's my thing. It's my thing. For example, writing poetry is my thing, which means I love writing poetry. Writing poetry is my thing. Or learning different languages is my thing. Making videos is my thing. You could also use things like I have a soft spot for. I have a soft spot for. For example, I have a soft spot for dogs. I have a soft spot for dogs, but I'm afraid I can't say the same thing about cats. This is a way to say that you like something in an upper intermediate level. Now, next, we're going to talk about how to say I like in English. In an advanced level, you could use things like it appeals to me. It appeals to me. For example, learning foreign languages appeals to me. Studying English appeals to me. Or you could use I have a passion for. I have a passion for. For example, I have a passion for classical music. I have a passion for writing novels. You can also use I'm really into. I am really into. I'm really into fitness. I'm really into bodybuilding. I'm addicted to. I'm addicted to. I'm addicted to listening to music. She is addicted to playing sports. He is addicted to rock music, and so on. This is the end of the first part, which is how to say I like in English in very interesting ways and in different levels too. Next, we're going to talk about how to say I do not like in English and the most common alternatives to. Now, if you are still watching this video, please subscribe and activate the bell. Now let's look at the alternatives to don't like. If you are a beginner, you could use like I don't like, I dislike, or I really don't like, or I am not fond of. For example, I dislike reading books, or I do not like watching movies. Or you could say that you are not interested in. If you're talking about personal interests, for example, you could say I'm not interested in. Or I'm not really into. I'm not really into music. I'm not interested in reading science fiction. It is not my thing. It is not my thing. This means I'm not interested in doing it. Or I have no interest in reading novels. I have no interest in clubbing. I'd rather stay at home, for example. So you could say that you do not like something. I don't like. I dislike. You could even use I hate, like I hate horror films. This means I do not like horror films. They scare me. If someone offers you something and you want to say that you do not like that thing, for example, you could say that, thanks for the offer, but I'm not really interested in it. I'm not really interested in going for a walk. Walking is not my thing. I'm not interested in listening to music. Listening to music is not my thing, or I am not into music. Or you could say, thanks, I will pass. I will pass. This means I refuse or I don't like it. Count me out. I will pass. You could also say, thanks, but I'm not crazy about it. I'm not crazy about that thing, or I'm not fond of that thing, or I'm not a big fan of music. I'm not a big fan of hiking. Thanks for the offer. So this is if someone offers you something and you want to apologize and you say that you're not interested in that thing. I am not interested in it. I have no interest in it. It is not my thing. I do not like it. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not a big fan of it, or I'm not crazy about it. I am not crazy about it. if you hate something so much, you could use things like I can't stand. I can't stand. I can't stand rock music. It makes me crazy. I can't stand him. He is so annoying. I can't stand. I can't stand. This means you hate something so much. I can't stand. I can't stand hot weather. It drives me crazy. I can't stand classical music. It is not my thing. I can't stand. You could also use something like I detest. I detest. Again, this means I hate something so much. I detest cold and rainy weather. I detest hot weather. I detest hot and rainy weather, and so on. That was our episode of the alternatives to I like and I don't like. I hope you enjoyed the show, and please, if you like the video, subscribe and activate the bell, and I shall see you next time. Bye bye.